As president, I will do everything in my power to support the men and women in intelligence, law enforcement, and homeland security to make sure they've got the tools and resources they need to keep America safe. But it's also my job to ensure that our intelligence, law enforcement, and homeland security systems and the people in them are working effectively and held accountable.
President Obama talking about the review that he has now ordered following the attempted terror attack on Christmas Day. With the politics of national security now being waged at full volume, let's bring back the panel. So Republicans have since, well, as these days have played out, started going after the Obama administration. Some GOP officials making the claim that Democrats, again, are soft on national security. And check out the comment that Vice President Cheney made in an exclusive statement to the Politico website today. Let's put it up on the screen. This is Vice President Cheney about Obama. Why doesn't he want to admit we're at war? It doesn't fit with the view of the world he brought with him to the Oval Office. It doesn't fit with what seems to be the goal of his presidency, social transformation, the restructuring of American society. Mort, is this a good issue for Republicans?
No, I don't think so. Look, if you look at it on the merits, the fact is that, well, the first thing I want to say about this is that it's disgusting that instead of reacting as we did after 9/11 to unite the country and realize that we have a common enemy, there they go. The polarization is so bad that everybody's after each other and trying to make political hay out of this. The White House is accusing the Bush administration of having spent so much time on Iraq that we failed to conquer al-Qaeda. And now you have Dick Cheney, instead of just defending his own administration, attacking day after day after day the Obama administration for being weak. Look, Richard Reed practically did the exact thing.
The shoe bomber.
The shoe bomber did practically exactly what the Nigerian did, and almost exactly the same way. Don Rumsfeld said this is a matter for law enforcement. He was handed over to civilian authorities. He was not waterboarded. He was tried and convicted, and he's now spending his life, the rest of his life, in jail. So, what is, both sides, I think, ought to stop beating on each other and start worrying about how we unite to fight terrorism.
Mr. Krauthammer.
I dissent. The Reed affair happened 3 months after 9/11. It was a few weeks after the Afghan war. It was after the anthrax attacks. We didn't have any of these systems up and running. And this whining on the part of Democrats about how this all become political, the opposition opposes. The Democrats were perfectly right in attacking the Bush administration over its conduct of the war in Iraq and a moral critique of the interrogation policies. The opposition opposes. And now all of a sudden, when we're in the midst of a fiasco, self-admitted on the part of Obama, of course Republicans ought to highlight it and attack it. And this idea that somehow it's beyond the bounds or it's illegitimate is absurd. If the Democrats immortalize the words "good job, Brownie," when Bush commended the failed FEMA director over the dealing with Katrina, the Republicans are surely in their right to immortalize the words that the system worked, said by Janet Napolitano, in reaction to an obvious failure in this case. Politics is politics, and it's a game for grown-ups. Enough of the whining.
Well, I think it was a mistake for the Bush administration to treat Richard Reed as a criminal. I worry that they didn't get as much intelligence as they might otherwise have gotten.
Let me get to the politics of it. Does it make sense? I mean, I certainly agree that these are national security issues, should be debated, and I thought when the President and Cheney were arguing about enhanced interrogation, that was a very sensible conversation to have. In the first 3-4 days after an event like this, should it become as political as it has become?
Yeah, it should be. First of all, I don't think it's necessarily political to make fact-based arguments pointing out the flaws in what the administration has done. I mean, when you have a president come out and say, in the face of a mountain of evidence, mountain of open-source information, that this was connected to al-Qaeda, you had al-Qaeda claiming responsibility, you had reports in various news organizations, from various news organizations, that this was, in fact, related to al-Qaeda, or that he had had contacts with al-Qaeda, and the president comes out and says this was the work of an isolated extremist. It would be crazy not to criticize him for that. Why wouldn't you criticize him for that? The comparisons to Richard Reed, though, are not apt. George W. Bush, in the days after September 11th, spent every single day making the case that counterterrorism was the most important function of the U.S. government, and it's what we were going to do. If we were going to err, we were going to err on being the side of too aggressive. Barack Obama was elected in no small part because he made the opposite case. And he has given the benefit of the doubt, I think, again and again and again. You have Janet Napolitano talking about man-caused disasters rather than terrorism.
I just want to ask, Mr. Kondracke, you have 30 seconds. Would you like to retract your comments?
No, I would not. Look, this,
I had a feeling you would.
Obama is fighting terrorism. He is waging a war on terrorism. He just added 30,000 troops to fight a war on terrorism. And for Dick Cheney to go around saying that he's weak on terror is just ridiculous.
Cheney's going soft in his old age. I was surprised that it wasn't even tougher.
Well, thank you, panel. That's it for the panel, but stay tuned for a children's fashion show that, as you will see, goes terribly wrong.